Hey, welcome to my video. I bought this ZT Elite, this bad boy, a week ago, and I was reading the manual. I was so excited to get to use it. So I actually read the book, and I noticed you're supposed to do the initial oil change at the first 8 hours. So you gotta break in the engine. And so after the first 8 hours, you need to change the oil because there's a lot of wear and tear in the very beginning because it's brand new. So there could be metal shavings and stuff. So we're gonna change the filter. We're gonna fill it up with 2 quarts of this Kohler 10W30. I got the Kohler on this bad boy. There's a Kawasaki option as well, but we're rolling with the Kohler. So I figured I'd get the Kohler oil. I didn't bother getting the bad boy oil, but I mean, this ought to do the trick. And it even says Kohler warranty approved. So let's get started. The oil drain tube is right here. Yours might be down below a little bit. I got it zip tied up here so that it's pointing up. It's gonna be easy. We're just gonna remove this screw, not this screw, but this cap. Screw it off, and then we're gonna put it in this bucket. We're gonna let it drain. You need the engine to be a little bit warm. I just ran it for 3 or 4 minutes. I cut a small patch of grass here at my house, and so it's warmed up, but it's not hot. You don't want it to be too hot. You don't want to burn yourself. And here's the filter. This is fuel filter, but this is the oil filter. And for the Kohler, it came with this 05002. It's the exact same one that's on there already. 5205002S. It just twists. It doesn't even really screw. It's just about a quarter twist. It pops off there. And now, get our can ready here below. And drain it all out. Surprising how dark it is after just a week. To help it drain faster, we can pull out the dipstick over here. Just open it up. Let some air in from the top. That's probably about it. It drained out pretty quickly. My Gravely, it takes a while. I've got a Kawasaki engine on my Gravely, and it takes forever to drain. So this one drained out pretty quick. I just held it the whole time here, pointing it into the bucket, trying not to spill it all. I was able to take my hand off of it. It looks like it's kind of underneath this cable here, holding it in place. Let it drip all the way out. And then we're gonna take off the oil filter. And we'll put the new one on, plug that cap, fill it up. Anybody that can operate a zero-turn mower can change the oil in it. If you're capable of riding on it, cutting the grass, you can do this. This is pretty easy. This is the most simple and easiest maintenance you can really do, and you need to do it often. The book is calling for after the first 8 hours for the initial oil change. It says you should do it every 50 hours. I know on my Kawasaki it says every 100 hours or annually. So if you only put 30 hours on it in a season, you should still go ahead and change it once a year. But yeah, if you're putting, we'll change it probably once every month or two in the busy season. All right, that's finishing up. Let's go ahead and remove our oil filter. All right, let's see if we can get this off by hand. I'm gonna start by putting a little towel underneath it because there is gonna be oil that drops out. Looks like there's a hole here, like a drain hole for it actually, but I'm just gonna try to catch it with this towel. Old towel I don't care about. Okay, I'm gonna try it with one hand. Let's try. Lefty-loosey. Okay, one hand ain't gonna do it. Let's see if I can do it with two hands. Yeah, it's spinning. Slow. And it's spinning. I give it a little twist. You know, this is probably the most physical demanding part of this operation here. But there's ways to get this off without just twisting it. If you have an oil filter wrench, you can use that. If not, I mean, you could just grab it really hard with a pair of pliers, and it's definitely dripping quite a bit. Spin it all the way off and try to hold it upright and catch it, because this thing's still full of oil. Some of it fell out, but we got most of it. I'm just gonna leave that towel there for now. So on this filter, it tells you to fill it up halfway before you put it on. I've never done that before because, I mean, you're gonna spill it, you know? So I'm just gonna put it on and we're gonna fill it up from the top. I'll show you how to do it. Let's open up this new filter. One thing I've always done with a vehicle, whether it's a car, a truck, a motorcycle, or a lawnmower, and what I've heard is, you know, I think everyone does this that has ever done an oil filter or whatnot. You grab a little bit of your old oil and put it on your finger there, and you go around the seal, the gasket here, maybe a little bit on the threads. Like I say, they tell you can fill it up some. I've heard you can fill it up and let it soak a little bit, but I've never done that, not gonna do it here. So, voila. Put a little old, I use the old oil. I've heard you can use the new oil, doesn't really matter. Put a little oil on there and then tighten it up. Putting that oil on there helps it to seal. So there we go. We're gonna tighten it, get it all the way on there, and then you can just tighten it with your hand. You don't really need to have an oil filter wrench to tighten it. That's more for taking it off. On the thing here, on the actual filter, it gives you just instructions to get it to touch the base, and then you turn it another 3/4 turn to a whole turn. So that was about a 1/5. That's probably, I don't know, close to half. You want to get it basically as tight as you can with your hands, and that'll do it. It's kind of hard when your hands get a little bit oily, so make sure you get it on there good and tight. You don't want to Hercules it, you know. You don't want to, if you over tighten it, that could be a problem. You're gonna have to take this thing off again someday. There we are. It's on there and it's good and tight. Now, make sure before you pour the new oil in that you close up the drain. No sense in putting new oil in if it's all gonna drain right out. Put the cap back on. You can feel it drop down on there, and then you just turn it to the right, and you feel it lock in place. You can feel it. But I'm gonna reopen it. I've got my little zip tie over here to hold this thing up, because I just feel like with it, if it's going down, it could potentially drip or leak, especially as it gets older. So I like to keep it going up. All right, we've got the drain plugged. We've got the new filter on. Now it's time to fill it up with some oil. So you want to make sure your funnel is clean. You don't want any debris in there. You know, anything that's in there is going to go into your engine, so make sure it's all cleaned out. Give it a nice wipe with the rag. Pretty good. Stick it in. And then you grab your oil. So let's start to pour it in. As we pour it in, we're going to want to keep an eye on things, make sure nothing's leaking out. But if you got your drain plug, the cap tightened back on there, and you got your filter on, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. So here we go. Let's pour it in kind of slow. You don't want it to overfill, and sometimes if you pour it in too fast into that funnel, it'll end up overflowing. So just nice and easy. The first quart, we can pour the whole thing in there. You can pour half in and take a look, make sure it's not leaking. But it's not. So let's just pour the whole first one in. And I'm just gonna probably pour the whole second one in as well. It's okay if it's got a little more oil than it calls for, but you don't want to run it with too little oil. I'll let that drip. Well, that's good. Those little drips ain't much. Let's get the other jug, the other quart here. I'm gonna pour this one about 3/4 of the way in, and then I'm gonna use the dipstick to see how full it is. But I imagine it's gonna take the whole thing. There we go. Yeah, I'm also gonna do a little initial review. Okay, I almost poured the whole thing in there. Let's go ahead and check the dipstick. Wipe it clean. Throw it in there all the way. Pull it out. It looks like it's up to the full, or it looks like it's up to the F dot there, but there ain't much oil left in here, probably about this much, you know, like 1/4 of it. I'm just gonna throw the whole thing in there. I guess the worst case, with too much oil, it might appear to be leaking or something from time to time, but yeah, you're good. There's 2 full quarts. Let's put the dipstick in again and see how it looks. We're good. It's above the F. It's about right here. We're good. We're full. 2 full quarts. Maybe slightly less. There ain't no sense in saving that. You're gonna have to throw it in there eventually anyways from whatever. That's one thing I check every day before I fire up the machine. If I'm gonna mow 8 or 9 lawns with this thing, I'm not gonna check it every single time. But every single day before the engine has been running, because you don't get an accurate reading after it's been ran. So before you run the engine, you want to check that dipstick and make sure there's oil in there. If you run this engine or any engine Doesn't matter if it's on a lawnmower or a car or a motorcycle or it's a Kohler or Kawasaki or whatever. If it ain't got oil in it, you're gonna kill it. You're gonna make it lock up. You're gonna crack the block. Who knows? Bad things happen. Do not run an engine without oil. Always. It's so easy and so quick. Just pull that thing out. Bam! It's got oil in it. We're good to go. Okay. All right. And that's all there is to it. Oil has been changed. The initial oil has been changed with the filter and the oil. And then one other thing you want to do, you want to write it down. You want to write down the date. You want to write down the hours. And in this maintenance book here, or this little, see, look, it gives you a maintenance log. It's on 5-6. So, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna write down the date, how many hours are on the machine, and what we did. We changed the oil. First initial oil change and filter. I also would like to write down the type of oil used, and even the filter model number is a good thing to put on there too. So I'm gonna do that right away. So we just got our oil changed for the first time. We've got 8 hours on the machine. We've had it for a little over a week. And I just wanted to kind of give a quick what I think about it. And so far, so good. I really like it. It's comfortable. It feels good. The deck is a 60-inch. This is bigger than I've ever had. I've only had 42 inchers before. So I noticed a pretty big difference in the deck size. With that being said, I've been scalping a little bit. If you go a little uneven terrain, this big deck, kind of easier to scalp things with, so I have to get the hang of that. And that's the truth with this, is just trying to get the hang of it. You know, there's a little bit different than my last machine, like with this e-brake here and the choke over here, but overall it's all the same. I love the gas tank. I think it's almost 7 gallons. It holds quite a bit. That's awesome. 26 horsepower Kohler. It's a good machine. You change the deck height with that pedal and this knob. It's an okay method. I went ahead and tied a rope on over here to be able to lift up my chute. I like how the chute stays up if you pull it up like that. And it, you know, so you can get through a gate or go by an obstacle or whatever. If I'm mowing and I need to lift that up, I'll lift it up and hold it and put it back down. The way I've got this rope tied on here, if it's like this and you ran the blades, it could get caught in the belt. So that's kind of problematic. We don't want to do that. They make those things with the handles on them. You can, you know, maybe one day I'll get one of them. Anyways, the tires in the front and in the back are bigger than what I've had before. And they're awesome. It hasn't hardly spun at all. It's been really grippy. It's been able to handle some incline terrain pretty well. It was going through wet grass, not ideal, but the weekend I got it on a Saturday, and then it rained all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and so we finally got to use it on Wednesday, and it was not ideal conditions. You know, the ground was pretty wet. But this thing did a good job. It's got a little bit of suspension in the front here. That's the difference in the Elite and the one below it, the Avenger. I went ahead and bought a new deck belt for it just because that's one thing that, you know, it's pretty common to have to change. And it was a little bit expensive. It was like $90 before tax. So I got $100 into the belt, but I'm going to leave that, keep that as a spare. It'll be really good to have, you know. They always break at the worst time, so when it does, I got it ready. Hopefully I get through the whole first season here without having to change it, but I got it when I need it. So those are my initial thoughts. Yeah, I am pretty happy with the purchase. I'm happy with the Kohler so far. And the Kohler was like $250 cheaper than the Kawasaki option. Plus I got it $100 off where I went because they had it on sale that day. So I got, you know, saved $350 versus the Kawasaki one, but I don't know. I don't have a preference one way or another with Kawasaki or Kohler. I think they're both good engines. The Kohler is made here in the United States. The Kawasaki is made in Japan, but they're both good. Yep. Those are just my initial thoughts. There will be more to come. I'm going to do some reviews once we get some actual hours on here. Like I say, we're only at 8. The one thing about the hour meter, when you've got it on and running, it'll show you the RPMs. It doesn't show you the hours while it's running. It switches over to showing you the RPMs, which is kind of cool. You know, that changes with if you got it throttled down or if you have it on full throttle. When you're running the blades, you want to have it on full throttle. So, but I usually like to, when I'm turning the machine off, I'll throttle it down, let it run for a second, and then turn it off. It's also got this fuel line switch, which I've never seen on a mower before. This is my third zero turn, so I'm starting to get a little experience, but I hadn't seen a switch like that. I've just been leaving it on. It could be advantageous to turn the switch off if you're not going to run the machine for a long time. Turn the switch off and let it just run until it dies, and that way all the fuel will be out of the machine. So that's a nice option, and nice to be able to do that. But yeah, and the Elite, we've got the Hydro Gears, the 3100s, which is a commercial grade hydro gear. Plus, you can service it. You can take this off here and change the filter on there, which I think it says to do at the first like 75 to 100 hours, and then every 400 hours after that. So we'll have to make a little video for that when the time comes, but it's going to be a little while. But yeah, if you're thinking about buying a bad boy, you should go and do it, because I am pretty thrilled, honestly. I'm pretty happy with it. And bad boy, you hear me endorsing you guys. Don't be afraid to throw a sponsorship or something my way. No. But seriously, on likes and subscribes and comments, you guys could definitely do that. I'd appreciate it. We're going to build this channel. We're going to make it big. We're going to make it huge. Just like this 60-inch deck. Yeah. But seriously, give me a like or a subscribe and a comment. There will be more review videos, more videos of us mowing. Sometimes I do little repairs and fixing things or tearing them apart. So, yep. Leave us a question or a comment. Thanks for watching.